Tammy Sudler, and I and my husband owned Seniors Helping Seniors, which was a home care agency here in the Vero Beach area. And we were reached out to Green & Company to help us sell the business when we were ready to move on to the next transition. When we first reached out, we spoke with Richard, who is the owner, and he was absolutely amazing. We loved his energy, his personality, the very frank conversation of what we could expect going through the process. We had originally reached out in 2001 and decided at that point in time, based on our conversation, it wasn't quite ready. We weren't quite ready to put it on the market for sale. We then subsequently followed up 6 months later when some other life things happened, and he was just as delightful, prompt with his responses and his communication with us, and that's what ultimately led us to signing the contract to go with Green & Company. Before we signed the contract with Green & Company, we did reach out to a couple other brokers, had some initial conversation or reached out and never got follow-back calls from the folks we reached out to. But we had talked with, I think it was 2 or 3 other folks, and we just really felt comfortable with Richard and his answers, and I didn't feel like we were getting a bunch of fluff answers from him of what to expect. I didn't feel like he was trying to sell us on something that may or may not happen, and for me that was really important. During our process, once we signed the contract, our communication with Richard and his team, including Tammy, was absolutely amazing. They were very responsive through the entire thing. They answered the questions we had. They gave us updates periodically, and if we didn't know if we should be expecting an update, they would let us know how frequently we could expect something. And happily, we were able to, we put the business on the market in November, and by March we had an offer. After our sale, we ended up reaching out to Green & Company because we had some adjustments that had to be made to our original agreement. And we didn't know where to turn to ask, and Richard was part of, and Tammy were part of the closing and had talked with the buyers and things, and we just wanted to have a friend to be able to reach out to and look over what we were thinking to see if it made sense. And I wasn't sure if we would hear back because the sale was closed. Why would they have to talk to us? And much to our surprise and happiness, they reached out immediately to us, hopped on a phone call, and we talked through what we were thinking, and we're able to bounce it off of Richard. Again, it was not just a business transaction, it was actually a friendship, and we felt really, really comfortable and good about that, and so grateful that we had that follow-up with him and still have access to him today. I would highly recommend you speak with Richard and his team about the process and about possibly using him as a broker. I don't have enough good things to say about him. I have also given the recommendation to the franchise owners that this is somebody that other franchise owners should consider using. He just really made it an easy process in an otherwise very challenging experience that it could be, and did an amazing job with it. And I just highly recommend you give him a call and talk to him about it and lay out all the information to him, numbers and other things, because he's going to help you to figure out how to frame it up so that hopefully it's advantageous for you as well as beneficial for the new buyer.